Hello everyone, I've got another pen review here for you, and the pen that I have is the 323-109SM. So this is the aluminum alloy version or anodized aluminum version. So the model of course is a 323 and then our color code is the 109, and this is the steel color, which makes sense because it's kind of a silverish color. You do get your standard Penbbs coffin here. Nothing super special, you guys have seen it 1,000 times. And then of course you get one of these nice little roller balls with the pen as well. Now, how does this pen stack up against its acrylic predecessor? So here is the acrylic pen. Now they of course are the same overall design, but there are some slight subtle differences between the two pens. And I'll show those as we go through the review. Now, first impressions of the pen when I first opened it up, of course, I love this design as far as the 323. And when I picked up the pen, the first thing I noticed, of course, with it being metal, is it's cooler to the touch, of course, but it warms up very quickly, unlike some of my other metal pens, which is nice. I really like this color. I think it looks really cool. You know, you kind of almost see like there's just all these speckles on it, so to speak. It'll be interesting to see how it holds up over time overall. But I definitely really enjoy this color overall. There's other colors that it's offered in. I know Chris Rat 52 posted a video. He had a brown version as well as a purple, which I think was called Lilac. So they definitely have other colors. So if this one doesn't speak to you, there might be another one online for you to look at. Now, comparing the two 323s here, so you'll notice the overall body shape and everything is predominantly exactly the same. Now, one subtle difference is at the top here of our cap finial. You'll notice that we have more of a traditional cone here and then more of a point over here on our aluminum version. The other thing I've noticed is a little bit sharper edge here, whereas this one seems to be a little bit more rounded and machined that way. So again, just some subtle differences. There's a little bit difference in overall girth between the two pens, not much. I'm not going to post the dimensions of both pens on the screen, but I will do just regular dimensions of our our aluminum one down here. Now, the bottom here of our barrel, again, same as the cap design, you know, more of just kind of a rounded cone here and then more of a point on our 323. And you can really see that when you look at it from underneath, the differences in design there. They both are very comfortable in the hand. Of course, they have that very interesting barrel design. It fits in your pearly cube back here very well. And it's one of the things that I love about these pens is that they're just very, very comfortable to hold. Now, as far as taking off the cap on this pen, it's just a little bit over one turn. I'd say about 1 1/4 turns. Now, one of the things you'll notice right now already off the bat is the placement of the threads. Very much so different than most fountain pens. Now, when I first saw this, one of the pens that I've wanted to own for quite some time, just have not purchased one yet, is a Franklin Christoph pen. And it kind of reminds me of that because of the threads being towards the end of the section versus up where you would traditionally have them. Now, you'll notice here we actually do have some branding on this pen, whereas on our original 323 there is no branding on it. So we have Penbbs here, we've got their logo right there on the side, and then on the back 323, and then again a logo on this side. So, you know, some of you may like that, some of you may not. I personally don't really mind it. I could see where some people would not like the fact that there is branding on this pen. Now that does, because of this little band here, it does kind of create two step ups or step downs, so to speak. They're not extremely uncomfortable or sharp necessarily. And I typically hold my pen about right there and they don't bother me when I'm writing, honestly. So I don't really have an issue with that. Now, looking at the two sections and comparing them, they're about the same in overall length. But of course, this one you could argue is going to be a little bit shorter just because of that thread placement. You know, you still have threads here, so you're more than likely going to be holding the threads there if you hold your pen up higher. However, again, these threads are very well machined. There is a slight step up right here but you know, comfortable pen overall to hold as well. And there you can kind of see the two pins uncapped next to each other. Now let's set this guy off to the side. Look at our nib and feed here. So again, we have a medium nib here. This is the rounded medium. I really love these nibs. And you see that nice M design in the nib. And then you see Penbbs and then 2005, Shanghai, China. And then of course we have our standard Penbbs feed with those very skinny fins on the back. Again, if you're ever trying to change out this nib, just be wary of those fins and be careful because you can bend them and damage them very well, which is what I actually did with this pen, the 323, and had to sit there and bend them back. They're very pliable. So let's take off our barrel here, and you're gonna have, you know, some friction like you do with all Penbbs pens, and that is simply because you have your O-ring here. Now the O-ring placement is basically about the same as it is here with my other 323. Now the 323 is a little bit different than some other Penbbs models. Some of them you'll know that you always have your O-ring up towards the end here, whereas on these guys it is towards the section versus towards the barrel. Now the threads are roughly about the same. You know, there's, to me, a little bit more on the acrylic side here, but you know, two different pens essentially. You have your converters here, same exact converter design. They have the little metal springs. You can't see this one because I have some dark ink in here, but they both have metal springs. I just cleaned this pen out the other day, so this one was inked up for quite a while. So again, same basic design. In a nutshell, that's really the pen. I'm not gonna obviously fully disassemble the pen. I think most of you have seen that before. Now, as far as pricing goes for the pen, it really, again, depends upon where you purchase it. But you're looking at anywhere between about $24 to $30. Now, I did get this off the Penbbs official store. I'll post right down below the exact price that I paid for it with shipping. Bear in mind, on the Penbbs official store, you typically are going to be looking at paying some type of shipping cost, which is roughly about $6. Whereas if you buy them on eBay, you're typically not, but you might make that up in the actual retail cost of the actual item or pen. One valid point, when I was watching Chris Rap 52's video, he typically orders more than one pen at a time, which is actually not a bad idea because then you can combine shipping costs and actually save yourself a little bit of money in the long run. All right, so up next, guys, we'll look a little bit more in depth at the barrel and kind of compare, the cap and compare it between the other model, and then we will do a writing sample to see how that medium nib performs. See you guys in just a second. All right, guys, so I'm going to show you the acrylic one here first. So you'll notice on our acrylic one here, we actually have a machined cap liner. So that's, you know, again, another subtle difference. You're obviously working with an acrylic material, so it's going to be a lot easier. But we have a machined cap liner on this guy. Now looking at our aluminum one, get some light down in there, you'll notice that we actually have a cap liner that's been placed inside the pen. So it looks like, to me, probably some type of a friction fit cap liner. And you'll notice that our threads are actually going to be on that cap liner on the inside. So there's where your threads are. They're not actually attached to this aluminum body here. Everything, you can kind of see the inside portions of that aluminum. So just to kind of give you another look, wish I could kind of get farther down in there, but kind of hard to see. So again, another subtle difference between the two pens, whereas your acrylic one, you've got your machine cap liner, and your aluminum one here, you have just an inner cap liner that's been placed inside of the fountain pen. So guys, I will post some dimensions and some weights of this pen up on the screen next, and then we will do a writing sample. So stay tuned and I'll be back in a moment. All right, everyone, we are back for the writing sample, and this is the ink that I have in it right now in this pen. It's a diamine ink, and it is the Sargasso Sea. A little bit of a drier ink, nice deep blue though. I would say a very nice dark blue color. I do like the ink. I actually got that ink from FPR, actually, was where I purchased that ink from. So again, this is the Penn BBS 323. The designation for it is 109 SM, which makes this the steel color. Now this is the medium nib that I am using. These nibs are very smooth, very nice nibs to use. Do a quick writing sample for you guys. So it works pretty good there. Do a quick wetness test. Even though this is a drier ink, this is a, their medium nibs really do a great job of laying down a nice patch of ink. As far as line variation, you're not going to really get any line variation. I'm pushing it way too far there. It's not a pen that's meant necessarily for line variation. To me, it kind of just squirts out more ink, but it works. As far as quickness, as far as if you're a really fast writer, this nib can definitely keep up for you. Shouldn't really have any issues as far as skipping or anything of that nature. Reverse writing, does it do reverse writing? It actually reverse writes pretty darn well, actually. That was more me right there, not making contact with the paper. There you've got, to me, I would say probably closer to an extra fine line. So definitely is a pen that you can reverse write. A little bit scratchy, but I think it's definitely something you can use pretty easily. All in all, just a nice pen to write with. I really enjoy this pen. Now the question is, what do I not like about the pen? I can't really pick anything. It's my first aluminum pen. So maybe part of it is I'm just impartial, but I really don't have anything that I don't like. I do not find the section slippery at all. Now I know that might be some people's concerns, is the section being slippery. For me, I don't find it slippery at all. And I don't have extremely oily hands or anything, but I could see it maybe being a problem for some people. I think it fits very nice in the hand. It's got more weight to it than the acrylic version. So if you are someone that likes a hefty pen and you're not huge on acrylic pens because most of them are going to be very lightweight, this would be a nice kind of in between, or a nice pen to try out. Other than that, I really don't have any complaints about it at all, honestly. So I feel as though it's worth the price tag that's given to it, and I would definitely recommend purchasing this pen. And again, there are other color options available, and knowing Penn BBS, they may even launch some other colors here in the future, maybe some limited editions like they do with some of their other models, and you might even get some really neat colors coming out. So give you guys a quick look into my next review that I'm going to do. Again, this is a pen that I've had for a while, but to give you guys something to look forward to, here is the pen. You guys can tell me what you think it is. So I haven't even inked this pen up. I've had it now for a few days, and I'm excited to get it inked up and use it. So you guys tell me what you think it is down in the comment section below. And other than that, this concludes the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.